Welcome back to dprocess.org, and this is our first video in our AutoCAD tutorial series. And in this video we're going to discuss how to make terrain models from GIS information you're going to receive from cities, municipalities, wherever you get them from. Here is a map that some of the students in the second year are using right now. We are going to go over how to loft these polylines together to create solids that you can then take into 3ds Max and use its soft select tool and its looping tool to select vertices and manipulate the terrain to make it fit your project or what your building, your intervention, whatever it is. So here we are. We have a AutoCAD open. This is typical of the information you get from municipalities when you get their GIS information. They have the topo assigned to a specific layer, and the topo lines are usually polylines if you're lucky. A lot of the times they're not polylines, and we'll go over polylines here in just a second. But usually they come in as polylines, and you only want a specific region, so you'll crop out the remainder of the topo lines that you do not want in your drawing. So if I hold down the shift key and then the middle wheel, it turns the 3D view on in AutoCAD, and as you can see, this is a flat image. The topo lines are not stepped. I know from the drawing that each line represents a 2-foot jump in elevation up, so there should be a layering of these topo lines as I rotate this in 3D. So what we need to do is we need to start to stack these topo lines, but before we do that we need to close them. Right now they are just polylines that are not closed, which means they don't form a complete line or a closed geometry. So if I were to loft them together, it would just make a surface rather than a solid. And the reason we need to create a solid is because we're going to be taking these topo models out into GibbsCam for manufacturing on the CNC, or you can export them as STLs and print them with a Z-Core or MakerBot 3D printer. So to close these, I'm first going to go over the concept of polylines. A polyline, which is PL, enter, is a series of lines that once you're done clicking on all these, enter, it's an entire line. It's a series of lines that are connected. I can do the same thing with just a regular line. L enter for the command. However, when I do this, the line is still a series of segments. Now, say if all these topo lines that come in as lines, you could turn them into polylines. And the way you do that, I'll show you right here, is you hit PE, which is polyline edit, enter. Now it says to select a polyline, but even though it's not a select a polyline, we'll select it, and it's asked, do you want to turn it into one? Yes, enter. And then we want to join other lines to create a polyline. So if I go through, enter, hit join, and then hit enter and enter again, this will be a polyline now, similar to the one over here. So, and these aren't closed polylines either, so I'll show you how to do that real fast. So delete these real fast. I'm going to delete a bunch of these other lines because I'm not going to go through and and loft all of them. I don't want to do all the work. So anyway, here we are. We've got just a few polylines, and we need to close them. So I'm going to type PL to draw a polyline here. I'll draw it to that corner and then to the end of that. Enter. And now that polyline is done. So I'm going to hit PE again. I'm going to select the polyline. I'm going to go to hit J for join. Select the other polyline, that one, and there. Hit enter twice, and then when you're done, you have a closed polyline. So now I need to move that up. So I need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So move it up 12 feet. So hit M, enter for move. Select the polyline. Left click anywhere in space, and just 12 feet. Now, as you'll see as I rotate, that polyline moved up to 12 feet, which is what you wanted it to do. So I can go through, repeat this process until polyline edit, join, move. So you'll just repeat this process over and over and over again until you have completed your topo. It's going to be quite monotonous, I know. But once you do this once, you're done, because what you'll do is you'll save this this topo that you've completed off somewhere, and you'll be able to import it over and over and over again into 3ds Max for manipulating. So you only have to do this once typically, which is fantastic. Let me just do this last one, and then we'll. Oh, now if I look at this one, I kind of need this to line up with that gray line, because otherwise the back side of this model will be will have a contour all to itself, and that'll, if we put this on the Gibbs or some on the CNC, it'll create for something pretty funny. So I'm just going to eyeball that and snap it to that line. So if we just join these last two together, let's move it up 6 feet. Alright, now that we've got some, I'll just delete these last two. I've got some topo lines. Now I need to loft these guys together to make a solid. So the loft command is LOFT loft, and you just select the lines in order. So you need to go from bottom to top or top to bottom, it doesn't matter. So we'll just select these in order. And then we want to do cross sections only, and then this menu is going to pop up, and here's your loft settings. You can go through these. You can get some pretty cool different effects with this. If you're creating a topo, you're going to want to use ruled. And here's an example of what you'll get. No need to close it since we've already capped off all the edges. So, but if we hadn't done that, what it would have done is it would have made a solid by connecting this top line to the bottom of the other one. So there would have been instances where the back side of this topo would have gone through the front. So that's why we close it off on the back, to prevent that kind of that anomaly. So you hit OK, and then all the other lines go away. What happens is those polylines are absorbed into this geometry. So when I click on this, I didn't have to hit record like in Rhino or anything like that. These polylines, their information is in this solid now. So as I start to orbit it around, you can see I can drag these points around. When I do that, it affects the entire model. You could do this, let me undo that real fast. You can do this in AutoCAD, however, you have a lot more control over selecting segments, faces, and there's the soft select in 3ds Max. So I would recommend that that you do that in 3ds Max. You do your topo manipulation. So that's pretty much it. That's how you're going to create topos in AutoCAD. And in the next video on this specific series of sites, we'll show you how to import a DWG into 3ds Max for you to start to manipulate and put your building into the site and manipulate the terrain to accommodate your building. So thank you. Stay tuned for some more videos.